This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another APH Virtual ExCEL Academy. We're so glad to have you all joining us today. As we're letting folks get a moment to get themselves situated in the room, try to get a little bit comfortable, and better yet, even try to get in a position and be ready to learn with us today. As you're setting up for today, I'd like to remind everyone to set their chat to all panelists and attendees, or everyone, depending on your version of Zoom. We are really excited to be able to interact with all of our students today, but that's not an obligation by any stretch. My name is Jeff Schwartz, and I'm with APH Outreach Services. We're very happy to have you all with us today. This week, our camp theme is STEM Camp on a Desert Island for grades 4 through 7. This is our target group. However, anyone is welcome to join in on the fun, and let's all try to learn together. I'd like to go ahead and start by introducing our teachers for this week, Miss Veronica and Mr. Trevor. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm teacher Veronica. And as I'm looking at the names, I think I'm seeing names from people I've seen before. So you might recognize my voice, but if you don't, let me tell you about myself. I'm a mom, a former elementary teacher. So you fourth graders, you're like my favorite grade to teach. I homeschool, I teach online, and I host a podcast with my sister. I'm a white woman with straight, dark blonde hair that hits just below my shoulders. I'm 5'4", so I'm average. Most of you are probably around my height. And I'm currently wearing a rusty orange short sleeve shirt because I'm in Michigan and it's kind of hot today. Before I hand it over to Teacher Trevor, let me just remind you, we need you to talk today. We need you to chat in the chat box. We need you to raise your digital hand. But when you're not talking, make sure your mic is muted so there's no background noises. We'll need you to use your name so we know who we're talking to. But it's kind of fun to see your names because I think I've seen some of these names before in our deductive detectives class. Don't forget, Trevor and I are excited to have this class. We've been working on it forever. And as we've been studying and preparing, we've been learning some important information that we'll be sharing. So have fun, and I'm going to let Teacher Trevor introduce himself.
All right. Thank you, Teacher Veronica. Hi, I am Teacher Trevor. This is very exciting for me. I am a new teacher. I will be becoming a teacher in the fall. And this is the first time I've done something virtually. So this is all very exciting and new for me. A little bit about myself. I am a father. I have a 2-year-old daughter at home that I love very much. I live in Virginia. I have short brown hair and a beard. I have glasses. Let's see. Things I like to do. I love listening to music. Music is one of my favorite things. I like playing music and listening to it. I love spending time outside. And yeah, it's great. So very happy to be here and very excited to move forward. All right. So let's hop into our slideshow. All right. Are you ready, Teacher Veronica?
I am. How about you start with the icebreaker and I'll do the learning objectives.
Sounds fantastic. All right. So our first question for all of you is, have you ever been on a cruise ship? And you can type Y for yes or N for no in the comments. This is just to let Teacher Veronica and myself get to know you and your experience, whether you've been on a cruise ship or not. So we're curious to see what you guys reply with.
I'm looking at the chat box and I'm waiting to see if anything is popping up. Teacher Trevor, are you seeing anything in the chat box yet?
Because I have the slide up, I can't
Oh.
see the chat box, but I can say for myself that I've never been on a cruise ship before. I would love to go someday, but yeah.
Okay, it sounds like we have lots of hands going up.
Looks like you have about 9 people raise their hand that I'm going to assume means that they've been on a cruise.
Okay.
That's great.
I would like to see if you can type in the chat box. Let's practice that. Maybe it's new to you. But if at the bottom of your screen it says chat, if you click that, we could see. And Teacher Trevor, why don't we stop screen sharing right now?
For sure.
So they can see us as we're waiting to see. You're all doing a great job raising your digital hands. I'm not getting lots of in the chat box. That's okay. We have all week to learn how to use the chat box. But right now, I will tell Teacher Trevor to go back to that slide, number 2, so you can see and hear what we're going to be learning today. All right, today, our goals. What are we working on? I will be able to identify the 4, I'm holding up 4 fingers, cardinal directions. And if you don't know what that is right now, that's okay. We're going to talk about that later. We're also going to locate some places on a globe or a map, like the equator, the prime meridian, and latitude and longitude. And again, if you don't know what those words mean, that's okay. Later in the class, we'll talk about it. And we're going to brainstorm and list ways that we like to relax, because it's important to work hard at our goals, but also have time to relax and just take a break. But before we get into some of that, Teacher Trevor is going to be talking to us all week about someone who's famous. I had never heard of this person, but maybe you have. So let's see when Teacher Trevor shows us his picture and his name and tells us about him.
All right. So the person we're going to be talking about throughout the week is Eric Wyanmayer. And he is famous for his adventures. But before we talk about his adventures, I thought it would be a great idea to talk about where he's from and, where he started. So he's from Princeton, New Jersey, and was diagnosed with retinoschisis and became blind at age 13. So he had a hard time adjusting. And I assume, well, he said that he was nervous to learn Braille and cane skills early on, but grew to like them. And he got a guide dog as well that he absolutely loved. He became involved in extracurriculars in school. And a big one that he got involved with is wrestling. So he actually went to represent his school at a national competition of wrestling when he was in high school. So that was really cool to learn. He was the captain of his wrestling team. And he also discovered that he had a huge passion for rock climbing, which is very exciting. And that led him down his adventurous path. So we have 4 statements about Eric, and we just want you guys to think which one of these might be false about Eric. So as we go through the list, think about which one doesn't sound like that might be true. They're all very exciting and big things, but so the first one is A, he has climbed Mount Everest all the way to the top. B, he has been on the cover of Time magazine. And for those of us who may not know, Time magazine is one of the most popular and long-running magazines in history. So C, he has whitewater rafted almost 300 miles in the Grand Canyon. And D, he has climbed the 8 summits, which are the largest mountain on every continent, including the largest mountain on an island. So he has climbed the tallest thing on every continent and then the tallest thing on an island. So lots of climbing, right? So just take a minute and think, which one might be false? And the surprising answer is that all of them are true. So every one of those statements are true about Eric. He has done all of those things. So since we're going on a big adventure all week, teacher Veronica and myself just thought it would be fun to talk about a famous adventurer during our adventure. So we'll be coming back and talking about Eric later. But for now, we are going to move on to the next section.
Yes, but before we do, did I interrupt Teacher Trevor?
Nope.
Okay.
You did not.
We can stop sharing the screen because I think we got the chat box figured out. So let me answer a question. You don't need your supplies during class today. I'm seeing people chatting. It's so nice to see some chat going on in the chat box. You're not going to unmute until we give you the chance to unmute. We'll do that when we raise hands and call on you. Thanks for telling us it was disabled. Teacher Trevor and I have people behind the scenes who are helping us today. So let's try our icebreaker again. Have you ever been on a cruise? Try Y for S, Y for yes, and N for no. I'm seeing just a couple yeses and mostly some no's. Yes, George, the supplies are for the extension activities. I'm seeing some more names popping in with more no's on never being on a cruise. So it looks like I'm in good company because I've never been on a cruise either. Before we talk about the cruise, I'll have teacher Trevor pop up slide 6 to show you what a cruise ship looks like. And a ferry, I will say in this case, a ferry is like a very small boat. But here are 2 pictures that we found to show you how big a cruise ship is. A cruise ship has a lot of decks. It can be very long. So let's stop sharing the screen until we get to the jobs. But I want to tell you that a cruise ship is a large passenger ship, mostly used for vacationing. So Samuel, that's where it's a little different from a ferry. Passengers can go on a tour known as a shore excursion. They go and stop at different places, different islands, different ports. Or you can go on a cruise to nowhere. Would anybody like to go on a cruise to nowhere? That means it just stays in the water. No thanks, says Ingrid. The cruise stays in the water for 2 or 3 days without stopping at a port and letting the people get off land. So you stay on your cruise and you don't get on land for some days. Most of you don't think you want to go on a cruise to nowhere. I would agree. If I'm going to be on a cruise, I want to stop and get out. Let me tell you, as you're walking around that cruise and there's story or decks or levels on top of each other, you could use the stairs, but most people probably use the elevators to get around. And anything and almost everything you can think of is on a cruise. Because if you're going to be there for several days or a week, there's even a cruise ship called the World that the residents, the people on there, live there permanently. And they just travel all around the world. So if you're on a cruise for a day, a week, all year long, you're going to need food. You're going to need a doctor. And as we're talking about that, I'm going to close the chat box right now or have someone behind the scenes close the chat box so that I don't get distracted by everybody talking and asking questions right now. So, a cruise ship, I want to tell you, doesn't have a deck named number 13. Do you know 13 is considered an unlucky number? So many cruises don't have a deck number 13. And I see 2 hands raised. And I'll let you raise your hands and ask a question in just a moment. I want to tell you some more facts. If you're on a cruise ship for weeks or months, you might need a dentist or a doctor because accidents do happen. The cruise ship also has a pool, but it's filled with salt water. And cruise ships have anchors that weigh as much as 4 elephants. Think of, if you were touching an elephant, an adult elephant, you wouldn't be able to put your hands all the way around the elephant at once, like you do your cat or your dog. And we're going to take 4 elephants. And that's how much the anchor weighs. One other exciting thing, cruise ship members have their own secret codes. Did you know that? Like a 30-30 means the crew needs maintenance and cleaning up a mess. So if you say, I'm going on a cruise, you might want to learn their secret code before you go, and you can know exactly what they're talking about. So here's a fun one that I wouldn't want to see, but it's called a PVI. PVI. Public. That means everyone can see it. Vomiting. Throwing up. Incident. I don't know about you, but if I see someone throwing up, I'm going to throw up too. So avoid that on the cruise. Or if you hear alpha, that means there's a medical emergency. Or if you hear bravo, that means there's a fire. I don't want to hear bravo if I'm on a cruise ship. Or a kilo is a request for all the personnel, everyone who works on that cruise ship, to report to their emergency post because there's a necessary event. Something big is happening, like maybe an evacuation. So now you have a little insight and some fun trivia into a cruise ship. Teacher Trevor is going to tell you how you could actually work on a cruise ship.
All right. So, like Teacher Veronica was saying, you could work on a cruise ship and just cruise around the world, on the oceans, and that would be your job. But it's a good question to ask, what kind of jobs are on a cruise ship? What could you do? And I like to think of a cruise ship as a city almost floating on the ocean. There's so many things and so many people all working and doing things on the cruise ship that, there's endless opportunities. So my first question is, has anyone heard of a disc jockey? And you don't have to comment, but just think about it. What is a disc jockey? What do you think that person might do? And
I see some hands going
Oh.
up, Teacher Trevor.
Absolutely. I'm not sure how to call on people. Let's see.
How about Samuel?
Yeah.
Samuel, I will unmute you and you can answer.
I think a disc jockey. I think a disc jockey is kind of someone like who would would be in charge of like the music of the ship, kind of like a disc, or something related to like a disc player or something like that, like something of that sort, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Samuel, you hit the nail right on the head.
And I meant
You know what, Samuel? I accidentally just muted you as you started talking. So I'm sorry, but we'll let Teacher Trevor keep going and explain what else.
Yeah. So Samuel, that was great. You absolutely got it. And I saw that Mitchell in the chat made the note that they play music, and that you've been one as well, Mitchell. Fun fact about me, I also was a disc jockey when I was in college. But yeah, disc jockey, a good way to think about it is that's short for DJ. Disc jockey, DJ. So you essentially pick music and you play music for the entire cruise ship. All right. Some other jobs on a cruise ship are involved in entertainment. So you might be a comedian. So you stand up on a stage and tell jokes to make an audience laugh. You could be a singer, or you could be a dancer. There are all sorts of jobs and things you could do on a cruise ship with entertainment. An interesting one that I found out about would be a lecturer or a port lecturer. Now, a lecture has sometimes been talked about as something that's boring, maybe, or not as interesting. But what's exciting to it about me is that you would research things that happen at various ports that the cruise ship stops at. And then you teach your audience about the types of exciting things that they'll be able to visit. So I think that would be a really cool kind of job, You learn about the ports and you share your interest and excitement about them. I think that would be really cool. And like I said, a cruise ship is kind of like a floating city. So there are jobs on a cruise ship that you might just normally find on land. Cooking, preparing food, these are common jobs on a cruise ship, as well as working in shops or in service. Lots of really exciting opportunities. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many options and so many people who work on a cruise ship. So I'm gonna toss it back over to Teacher Veronica, and she's gonna tell us a little bit more about specific activities for the guests on a cruise ship.
Yes, but before I do, there's a couple things we need to talk about on a cruise ship that might apply. For example, you're going to know how to navigate crowded spaces. I know that's one thing all the APH students are always working on, navigating, trying to get around, and trying to explain how to help you. And sometimes people don't do the best job, probably, knowing how to help. But also, that means you need to have conversations and work on your conversation skills with unfamiliar people. Because if you're on a cruise ship with 1,000 different people, you're probably going to talk to them at some point. And you're going to eat with them. And I know one of those goals APH students are always working on, just like every other kid, is having good table manners. Knowing how to eat without making a mess is important for everybody. So, as we get going and we talk about some of the fun options on a cruise ship, that also means we're focusing on new ways to spend our leisure time, new ways to relax. Or on a cruise ship, you might find out there's some new hobbies you're interested in, some new group activities. Because I'm going to have teacher Trevor bring up slide number 9, and I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite activity or what you want to try first. And then I'm going to open up the chat, have someone behind me open up the chat box and let you all say, if you were on a cruise, what would you do first? Let me read the options. Type A, if you would zip line first. Or B, water slide. Go down a water slide. Or C, would you go to the pool? D is a library. E, laser tag. F is surfing. Did you know you can surf on a cruise ship? Or G, jump on a giant trampoline. H, go dancing. I, magic show. Or J, a comedy show. I'm going to stop talking and let you all keep inputting your answers, and then we'll talk about what we're seeing. I'm seeing a lot of different choices, but ziplining, A, seems to be a popular one. And so does G, the trampoline. So I'll give you about, and Natalie says she would zip line and then go to the pool. So if you want to throw in what you would do second after your first choice, I'll stop talking and you can type in the chat box. Oh, and Greg or George, I'm going to let you unmute and tell us what you want to say. George, go ahead and ask your question. I think I unmuted you. George, did you have something you wanted to say? Your hand is up. All right. We'll just keep going. I don't hear, it's not working. Okay. Thank you, George. I'm going to have someone behind me close the chat box. But I saw a lot of you have similar interests in that trampoline and some comedy shows and magic shows. But while you're doing that, you can remember a cruise or anytime is a great time to learn a new hobby, to try a new skill. And so I'm going to have Teacher Trevor close down the slide deck. And now we're going to give you like 15, 20 seconds to tell a short, very brief, what you would like to do on a vacation. So if you raise your digital hand, I'll start to call on people. I see hands flying up. Let's see. Who and I can have some of the teachers behind me. Also, there we go. Ingrid. I'm going to have you unmute. And can you tell us what you'd like to do? Ingrid, I'm not hearing you. Did you unmute? All right, let me try someone else. Mia Rocks. Why don't you try?
I would do
What would you try, Mia?
a trampoline.
A trampoline. Excellent. Good. Let me try Elena. Elena, why don't you let me unmute you? It's not. Elena, can you unmute? It's not wanting to work.
Hi.
Hi, there we go. Hit this, let me
Oh.
just say, for those of you who are trying, sometimes hit the space bar. Elena, what would you try?
I'm actually Sasha.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
why it's showing up. Sorry. I would do dancing first, and then I would, because I really love to dance, and then I would go on a water slide.
Oh, excellent, Sasha, and I'm glad I now know your correct name. Thank you. All right, let's try one more. How about Hannah? Hannah Grievers?
It's Givers.
Givers, I'm sorry. What would you do, Hannah?
Well, first, as I said in the chat, I would do the trampoline first. Then I go to the magic show. Then I would do. Then I would go in the pool, and maybe if I was feeling brave enough, do the zip line. And then at the end of the day, I would just sit in the library and relax because I love reading.
Excellent. Thank you, Hannah. All right. I know there's a lot more of you out there who would like to answer, but we'll give you more chances later this week to talk. For now, though, I want to go back to that idea of cardinal directions. And I'm going to have Teacher Trevor bring up quickly our slides so I can show you something, and then we'll come out and we'll talk about it. But one of the important things for everybody to know is about maps and globes. So how do we know the difference between a map and a globe? Well, a globe is 3D. That means you can put your hands all the way around it. It's a big ball, and you can sometimes on the globe, they'll put different textures on to show you where the mountains are. But a map tends to be flat. It's a piece of paper. It can be a very large piece of paper. And a map will just sometimes, a map will show you part of the earth, or sometimes maps, if we can go to slide 12, Teacher Trevor. Oh, I forgot, I need to show you all that. Let's go one more, I think. I might have written it down wrong.
Go to the next slide down.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. I got off my notes and I'm surprising Teacher Trevor. Can I have slide 13?
Yes.
All right. There we go. That's what I was thinking in my head. That's a map. It's two-dimensional. It's flat, but it shows you the whole Earth. Because some maps get very small and specific, but both a map and a globe are necessary. So on this, there is a red line going flat, going parallel to the bottom of your screen. Let me use some of our ECC words like parallel and perpendicular. And it's a line that goes around the middle of the Earth called the equator. There's also a blue line that's going perpendicular to the equator, and it's going up and down around the Earth called the prime meridian. And Samuel, I see you have a question, but I'm going to keep talking and maybe I'll answer your question. We can come out of that screen, Teacher Trevor. But I want to talk about how on a map or a globe, everybody draws imaginary lines. Lines that go horizontal from east to west, and lines that go vertical, up and down, north to south on a globe. And that are called latitude and longitude. We talked about that earlier. And latitude goes east to west. And longitude lines go up and down, north to south. And the idea behind these lines is to help you know exactly where you are on the earth. They're always on maps. They're always on globes, because if you're ever going to go somewhere, like on an adventure like Eric, who climbs mountains, he needs to know exactly where he's going. So he uses GPS. Or for those of you who like to go fishing, you might go out on a big lake or the ocean and have a secret spot. You don't want anyone to know, but you know your GPS coordinates, that latitude and longitude line. Or maybe you don't hunt and fish, but you like to go for walks and you like to find new places. You can actually use GPS, that latitude and longitude line, to go to the same spot every time. And you'll notice on a map, you'll have a small symbol that'll tell you where north is, and south and east and west. Because as we all know, it's important to know which direction you're going. And especially if you need help navigating, I know one of your ECC goals is using cardinal directions to describe how to get somewhere or where to go. So if you understand north and south, east and west, somebody could help guide you using those words. So it's important on a cruise ship to know which direction you're going. Hopefully, the captain of the ship knows exactly where you're going. But it's nice for you to know which direction you're traveling. Now, we only have about 10 minutes left in class, and Teacher Trevor and I want to talk to you about our extension activity. So I'm going to turn it over to Teacher Trevor to start with, and I can always jump in if I thought of something else.
All right, thank you, Teacher Veronica. So to start, we have some tips and just some things to think about. So if you were in a survival situation and you needed shelter, you may be in a place where you don't have a cave or somewhere safe to hide or, stay protected from the elements of weather and keep warm. So you might need to build something to keep yourself sheltered. And that could be called a hut. So the materials you might need to build a hut could be natural things that you find on the island, could be wood, or it could even be debris, and debris would be plastic or materials that may wash up on shore. It could be leaves. Some trees have leaves that are much, much larger than what fall on the ground in your backyard. That would be great to keep your hut stable and protected. Grasses would also work. Let's see. So, a question for all of you, and you do not have to reply in the chat unless you want to, but think, which would be better for a hut? To have a flat surface as your roof, or to have a slanted surface? And think about why you would want one or the other. So I see in the chat, we have one person who says slanted. And I think that slanted, yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why both can be good. You have plenty of places where a flat roof is great to have. And I think Mitchell made a really great point there about rain and snowfall. So in a city, a flat roof might be fine. And it might be nice to have a nice flat area. You can go on the roof. And yeah, but in a survival situation, if you need a hut and you're worried about water coming in from the ceiling, it might be better to have a slanted roof so that the water trails off the roof and goes to the sides. So that's an interesting point from Samuel as well about using flat for saving materials. There's a lot of great perspectives, and I think flat or slanted would work well in different situations, and it would require your best judgment in a survival setting to determine if slanted or flat would be best. And then
I'm gonna jump in, Teacher Trevor, and talk about our extension activity. While you're talking about this, you've all been sent directions. And I think, George, you were asking, when are we using the geometric things you've been sent? You can use those to build a hut, or you can also use any material you have around your house. And I had my son build a hut using cardboard, and he made a flat roof. So when you're building your hut today, George says he does not have an email. I will have someone respond to you, George, and let you know where we can look. But our extension activity has two parts. One, you're going to build a hut out of anything you can find in your home. And if you want to make it more challenging, you can have a door that opens and closes. You can use any material you want, but then later in this week, as we're taking off on our cruise ship, we're gonna run into some storms. And I hate to tell you, but something bad might happen. with our cruise ship, and you need to know how to build a hut that can withstand some wind. And so it's not very big. This hut can just be like 6 inches, just a small hut. But your wind is going to be a hair dryer. You're going to take your mom, your sister, your own hair dryer, and see if you built a strong enough hut that when those strong winds come, it can stand up. So your activity is to build a hut. You don't have to be able to fit in it. It can be out of whatever you want. It can be big enough for a doll. Or if you want to get intense and have some fun, build a bigger hut. Maybe you could crawl in it. But Teacher Trevor's going to show us or tell us what to look forward to later this week.
Absolutely. So, I don't know about you all, but I had a lot of fun today. And I am also excited about tomorrow. So tomorrow, we are going to learn more about islands. And that includes, what makes something an island. But we'll also be talking about famous islands and what makes an island forbidden. So that's interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to learn some more travel tips for cruise ships. And we're also going to talk about fun things to do at the beach. So talk a little bit about what a beach day would be like. I'm excited to talk about islands. We'll basically, talk about the qualities of that, and forbidden is especially going to be interesting. Teacher Veronica has found some really cool examples of forbidden islands and what you can or can't do. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we need to turn it over, Trevor, to Jeff. So I'll say goodbye and I'll see you all tomorrow.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay, I'd like
It
to
was
thank
wonderful to
both
meet
of
all
you.
of you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Teacher Veronica and Teacher Trevor, for our lesson today. I'd also like to thank ACS Captions for providing our captioning and access for today. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us for today's activity, and would like to remind everyone that you can join us tomorrow again at the same time for day 2 of the STEM camp on a deserted island. So everyone have a great afternoon wherever you are. Thank you.